What is up? Welcome back to Real Skate Stories. I'm your host, TR. Bienvenidos a todo el mundo a Real Skate Stories nuevamente. Wow, here we are with a new re-edit for you guys. Today, Markus Wyndham and a few runs of Howell as well. This was in 1990. We were filming for Risk It. Of course, his part in Risk It was all fast cut. Markus deserves a little re-edit action to see the pushing, see the roll away, and edit his beautiful runs at a nice, unhurried pace. Because I feel like Markus Wyndham and Howell were really revolutionary skaters. They came along at a time when transition was still the norm. Street skating had been going on for a few years, but it was still kind of emerging. And this was the year 1990, I think, when a big change took place. And a lot of it had to do with H Street, who sponsored these guys. And man, just looking back on that time, I could have never imagined the impact that they would have had and that H Street would have had in reality. When we filmed this part in 1990, video cameras had only been out a couple of years. Before that, we were filming on film itself. So this was filmed mostly on a Panasonic AG 1945, I think the camera was, a big bulky camera. I was really into getting a lot of different angles. I would always ask the rider to try to do his tricks a couple times so I could get different angles for the editing room, and also to shoot a still or two for the VHS box cover. That was always a goal, and for the magazines. Shout out to Skate and Life Australia, Slam Magazine Australia, and all the magazines that used to give me heavy rotation, as well as Thrasher and Transworld that throw me a bone every once in a while. One of the angles I used to really like to do a lot of was the face to feet back and forth angle, and I would use it very sparingly in the editing room, but I'd never seen anyone do that before. So yeah, there's another guy who was about 10 years old when this stuff was filmed, who you guys have named the angle after, and he overuses it, and it's not his angle. Yes, a lot has been said about how we used to film parts in one day, and that is true. These guys knew that they were a name on a long list of guys that only were going to have 1 or 2 days to film, so they brought it. They knew that they had to do as much as they could in that amount of time, and that's how we were able to film those parts in such a short amount of time. I feel like now skaters have a year, 2 years to film a part, so they take advantage of that time. And if there was more pressure on them, I think they could do it in a lot less time. Now, fair enough, a lot of them are going for absolutely huge hammers that are pretty much life and death, and I understand how that would take so long to film, but I think the turning point of when video parts went from a couple days to film to an entire year was when the skaters themselves started owning the companies. Before the skaters owned the companies, it wasn't like that. But once the skaters owned the company, they said, oh yeah, we'll take a year to do a part. So, I mean, shout out to Louis Lopez and guys like him who are banging out, 3, 4, 5 parts a year and on consequential obstacles. So, enough respect there. But I think there's a big reason why we were able to film it in just a couple days and they were able to film it in a long ass time. Markus Wyndham, what an incredible skater and rad dude, just a real mellow guy, kind of shy, but his personality would emerge on the skateboard. He'd land a trick and claim it, yeah, he'd get all stoked, and I was always very, very supportive and giving these guys a lot of encouragement. I dare say coaching to try to bring out the best in them. And I feel like that was my filming style. and you can really hear it in the raw tapes. Click up there for the Markus Wyndham raw tapes links, and you'll hear a lot of me bringing out the best in these guys. Something I loved about Markus's skating was he was the most tech guy I'd ever seen at this point in time, but he still mixed in a lot of the kind of standard moves of the day. So he could have just been like full tech guy, but it seemed like he kind of wanted to throw a little shout out to the generation before him by mixing in kind of a well-rounded approach to street skating. The clips of Ocean Howell in this part were filmed when he was hurt. I don't think he'd skated in a while. He was just hanging out with us while we were filming Markus's part. And then Markus loaned him his board, and he just started busting out these moves, going kind of slow, pushing kind of gingerly. And that ended up being in Risk It, which super unfair to his level, because at this point in time, he was a complete monster. Just revolutionary. His touch and the way he would land in one trick straight into the next, it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And looking back on videos of the day, I think that he was ahead of the curve. I feel like him and Markus really pushed each other, and they were very supportive of each other and asking each other to do tricks, and I think that brings out the best in a skater, having that peer support and positive energy in the air during the sesh. I want to thank everybody for all the comments, all the engagement. It's been really amazing to see how much interest there is on the roots of skating, and specifically the roots of street skating. And I posted a couple old contest videos that I know a lot of you guys grew up on. Wow, I had no idea how impactful those videos were for you guys. So I'm going to keep posting more. We got Savannah Slamma coming up, Oceanside, Sacto Street. Yeah, man, we're coming in hot. Another thing I want to say about those videos and those times is getting a lot of comments from people who say that, oh man, the skating was terrible, or that they could have been pro back then. And to all those people who are saying that, send the link to your footage from 1988 or 1989 or whatever video you're commenting on. Send us a link to see your skating at that point in time, to see if indeed you could hold up with Nadas, Gons, Tommy G, Eric Dressen, because it sounds a little ridiculous in reality. Now, if you're talking about transporting yourself back in time, equally as ridiculous. You could have gone back there and bought some stocks and been a millionaire. So, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Those were the best guys in the world. Skateboarding was completely different back then. The boards were big and floppy tails, and it was a whole new frontier. So, respect the architects. So that's it for now. Thanks again, everybody. Muchísimas gracias a todo Latinoamérica para su apoyo. Están siempre respaldándome con sus comentarios. Muchísimas gracias. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Mark. Rad.
Alright, I gotta do grind.
Okay. Yeah. Ripping, bro. Oh shit. What's that? Yeah, Mark.
Pulls it out.
Yeah. That was rad. Oh.
Cool. Well, it took me 2 times.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Are you still gonna do that at the beginning? That'd be my name right there. You're right, that is your name. Oh, it is, huh?
Yep.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
All right.